Hello, everyone. I am the Irritable Brad Syndrome. I'm here to talk about Alien Paradiso, Issue 1. I'm pretty up to date on the Marvel Comics. Their run of Aliens has been alright so far. I was digging it pretty good when I was first reading it, but I don't know. When I went to reread some of them, they weren't exactly hitting the same. But I'm giving everything a fair chance. I find the alien community can be really opinionated, so I figure it's best to go in blind to these kind of things without getting other people's opinions. Usually very negative in this community. Anyways, I like what Marvel's been doing with the Alien run. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible. It's nice to just see Alien get any attention, right? So I can't say the same about Predator. Holy shite. They got some issues there that suck. Like, they did Predator vs. Wolverine, which was fantastic. If anything, I'd say that's actually, like, a must-read. I highly recommend, if you haven't read that, give that one a read. It's a good read. Black Panther vs. Predator, I haven't read, so I have no idea. Spider-Man vs. Predator, that's coming out. But other than those ones, like the crossovers, they've only had, there was 3 Predator books, and they fucking suck. I'll do a video on them another time. I don't care to reread them right now, so I'm not going to. Anyways, Alien Paradiso. So when I first heard about Alien Paradiso, I was pretty excited because I'm thinking to myself, what I read was it was a casino island, a getaway for people like the rich people. So it's like a resort. The impression I got was a Las Vegas-y resort, which I think I'm a little off. I'll get into that a little later, but yeah, I was pretty excited going into this one because city environment, luxury resort, lots of people, hasn't really been done other than Alien vs Predator Requiem, which we don't talk about. So yeah, I figured this is a great opportunity to try something new. So let's dive into it. Alien Paradiso is written by Steve Fox. In brackets, I have written here, put some of his credits here. Penciled by Edgar Salazar. I also put in brackets here the same thing, put some of his credits here. The inker was Victor Nava. Also, brackets here I put some of his credits here and also look up what an inker is. Yeah, so I'm assuming it's just somebody who maybe does the digital filling in. I have no fucking idea. Or does the writing in the bubbles. Yeah, next one's a colorist. Colorist is Carlos Lopez. Same thing. Show some of his credits, which I obviously did not do the work before recording this. And Xenomorph POV artist Peter. I feel bad because I've heard this name said 1,000 times. I should know how to say it. Nguyen? It's probably just Nguyen. The G probably is silent. And letter VC's Clayton Klaus. Not sure what that is. I will educate myself a little better for the second issue. Yeah. As the comic opens, we see this is taking place 18 hours from now. I mean, we don't know what now is, but I'm sure we'll figure that out later. We'll see. God damn it, I can't read shit. Ignore this and edit it out, Brad. As the comic opens, we see this is taking place 18 hours from now. We see a young man hiding behind a table. He appears to be in total disarray. He's in a food court. Everything's been totaled around him. It's pretty bad sight. He sees a knife sticking out a little bit of meat. And he's thinking to himself, I'm going to get myself armed. He goes to reach for it, but before he could really make the move, another man comes running out. And that man's making lots of noise, screaming, running. But before he gets anywhere, we hear a quick slice as we see a little xenomorph tail hanging from the roof. And then the top of his head falls fucking right on the ground beside the dude. It's a gruesome sight. Horrible sight. I guess his fight or flight instincts kind of like take over at this point, so he just fucking grabs a knife and he runs. Not the worst decision in the world, right? So he gets out of the building, only to find there's like another dead body in the pool. Woman in a red dress, just, fancy people. This is a resort, but it doesn't matter if you're rich or not. Xenomorph will kill you. You don't discriminate, you know what I'm saying? So, anyways, he makes a run for it to the beach. And he makes it there in good time. I'm thoroughly impressed. Like, Xenomorph doesn't see him as he gets out. But, unfortunately for him, as we can see now, the POV switches over to the Xenomorph view, or the perspective of the Xenomorph is how a normal person would say that. But, yeah, so, I think this is super cool. I don't have it right in front of me right now because I'm just kind of recording the video, but, like, it's very, I almost want to describe it as, like, glow-in-the-dark mini-golf. Very dark with, like, some fluorescent colors in that. I'm forgetting which color does what. I'm pretty sure the pheromones, because the whole point of what I'm trying to get at is the Xenomorph can see the pheromones of the man from when he was running, whether that be because he was sweating or just the heat or whatever. Xenomorph can hunt. We know this. So, from its perspective, it can see the pheromones and tracks him down pretty quick. And I don't think the Xenomorph appreciated him, like, giving him a hard time and having to make him run. So it, like, fucking shoves its tail right in fucking underneath his chest and pops it right out of his fucking mouth. Should have a picture popped up here for you to see. It is gruesome. Basically a reverse chest burster if you think about it. So that Xenomorph made an example of that sumbitch. Now at this point in the comic, we reached the page where it shows, like, the artist, the inker, all the people I talked about earlier. Shows them, but every one of these Marvel's books, they all have, like, this intro, and it always starts off the same. It's always in 2122, the Nostromo, blah, 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 goes over the events of the first movie, and depending on what comic it is, like, how far along in the timeline it is, timeline? How far along in the timeline it is, it will show the synopsis for, like, Aliens 2, Alien 3, I haven't seen one that's done Alien Resurrection. It seems to be avoiding that. But I'm pretty confident. It might just be in the Aliens What If one. But anyways, I'm getting off track. It has a synopsis, and the synopsis reads as this. This is going to cover the first part. I should have just read the synopsis. Like, get to the point, buddy! Alright, anyways. In 2122, the multinational corporation, Weyland-Yutani, diverted their commercial towing vehicle, the Nostromo, to the moon, LV-426. Weyland-Yutani, purporting to answer a possible distress call, secretly wished to secure the specimens of a dangerous alien species known as xenomorphs. For study and profit, of course. Tragedy struck the crew, and WY, short form for Weyland-Yutani, hid the knowledge of the extraterrestrial threat. Now, space exploration is more dangerous game than anyone realizes. So there's your synopsis. As the comics go along, like, if you're buying the individual issues, it updates. Kind of gives you, like, how you start a show and it's like, last time. It's kind of like that. It's just like a brief little synopsis in the paragraph. It's like, this is what happened. So, anyways, we get an answer to the question of now. Now is apparently taking place in the year 2153. And this means that the events of Alien has happened, and the events of Alien Romulus has also transpired. If you read comics and that, there's probably a couple other things that have happened, but I'm not too sure. The only other one that I can confirm takes place in between these is, I'm pretty confident Alien Out of Shadows takes place in between these two. Pretty good book, actually. Anyways, so I don't know if this is supposed to be like a joke or a little bit on the nose. Maybe the resort's like funded by Weyland-Yutani, but the first thing we're shown is Paradiso from like an aerial view, and it's fucking shaped like a face hugger. Like, a little on the nose, boys. So Good thing nobody's ever seen a facehugger or encountered one of them before, because they might put one and one together pretty quick with the shape of the island if you look out the window. But, yeah, so we are introduced to what appears to be like a group of mercenaries. They are welcomed to the resort by three synthetics that are identical. They appear to be a woman, maybe in her 30s, black hair, wearing the same outfit. I find this to be kind of interesting because we've never really seen portrayed on camera multiple of the same synths, right? Like, we know that David had multiple different versions of himself. Like, there's David 1 through 8, and the David that we follow in Prometheus and Alien Covenant is David 8, which is a whole interesting topic on its own that I have to get into. But we know the Ash model is, well, I mean, not the Ash model. I mean, Rook was obviously the same model, but it was not Ash. But you get the point. It kind of makes me wonder what the model name of that Ash robot was. I'll have to look that up. Anyways, it's kind of interesting that they're all in the same spot. That's the first time I've ever seen that. So Ricky Valentine is reminded that this is a gun-free resort. So they obviously, Ricky says, "No problem. I'm a cool guy. I got no problem with this." It says in different wording than that, but you get the point. So him and his crew of people walk through the X-ray machine, or the whatever machine, and it shows all the weapons on them. Like, they are geared up to the teeth. That's for sure. They're ready for a good fight. But they happily give their weapons over to the guests, or not the guests, the welcome desk. So they give up their weapons, walk in, no big deal. So Ricky Valentine and his crew walk into the lobby, and Carlito, the owner of the resort himself's there. Introduces himself. Obviously, Ricky knows him. Ricky makes a joke about him not ever leaving like his ivory tower, so I guess he's likes to stay in his penthouse. But he makes a joke, gives him a hug, and then kind of whispers in his ear and goes, "Hey man, is the deal going good?" Ricky kind of says, like, "Yeah, everything's on course. Everything's A-okay." Carlito says, "Everything's great. Cool beans. Why don't you guys go with the synths? They'll take you to your villa. They'll get you all set up." So Ricky and his nice big crew of mercenaries fuck off to the villa to have a good night's sleep. But in the background, there's a lady and a man taking some pictures. Who are they? Well, we get to 3 days earlier, and we are sitting in like a military office. There's a lady there, obviously higher up, and then we've got two people that are being debriefed. They're being debriefed on apparently what was a human trafficking operation that went horribly wrong. Absolutely horribly wrong. So apparently only one guy survived. He took a good injury. Like, I don't know if he got shot, don't know what happened to him. Either way, they had him on life support for weeks, barely kept him alive. But they kept him alive long enough to get some information out of him, and he spilled the beans about Ricky Valentine. So this is where we find out that Ricky Valentine is actually like the leader of a criminal enterprise, and Carlito is like, I don't know, he's a typical rich man that wants to have a big name for himself, so he's getting involved with the wrong people. Carlito likes to feel the power of having these deals go down with the gang people come there. So, or at least this is what the military people speculate. So they decide that they're going to send in some people undercover to have a look there. That's when we're introduced to the other two people that they're speaking to, Marshall Nanda and Marshall Reeves. They kind of ask why this would benefit Ricky, like, why bother doing this at a resort? And the colonel, I don't even know what she is. The higher up, either way, just kind of says that they speculate that they want to do it there, that Ricky would want to do it there because it's a weapons-free resort. And that way he could kind of have a little control over the situation, especially given that he knows Carlito. So it definitely makes sense for them to want to do it there. You're going to bring some big higher up wigs from like gangs to do some dirty business. You don't want them to be ready to jump you. I totally get that. So anyways, we cut back to the present day where the marshals are ready to move on the group of mercenaries to like keep on spying on them. But as they go to do that, one of the employees offers what's her name? I don't think it's said their first name yet. I think it's Marshal Nanda. Anyways, Marshal Nanda gets offered a drink. Marshal Reeves says, "No, my wife doesn't need that. It's all good." All chuckle, whatever. They go to leave, and then the employee says, "It's almost brunch time. What are you smiling about? Move your ass." Which seems quite suspicious. Drama cuts away and then goes to a mother and a little boy running around. Little boy ends up asking one of the three synths that are the same if there's any animals or any native life there. The synthetic explains that there is native life, but they keep it separated from the resort. But if they do want to see the native life, there is a nature tour they can take to go have a look at it. Kid gets all excited, starts begging his mom, and as this is happening, Tusla, or it's T-S-U-L-A, yeah, Tusla, Tusla, I don't know, I'm going to say Tusla, I could be wrong. Either way, Tusla walks by and makes her way back to the beach at the villa where all the mercenaries are just having a hoot of a time playing in the pool. Tusla asks Ricky, "Why are we doing this in public? Like, why are we doing this out in the open? Like, this is not a good idea." But Ricky just kind of says, like, "It's a flex, baby. Got to show that we aren't afraid, that we're not afraid to be out in the public. We're not afraid to do nothing, man. It's a flex." So, you know, Tusla kind of disagrees, but Buddy says it's to intimidate them, and it makes sense. We can see the Marshall couple is also spying from a distance, but even through the camera, the fucking the guy Marshall's like, "Yeah, this woman is just miserable." Looking at Tusla, can't agree more. Anyway, so we cut to a new character, and he is landing a ship, and he looks like really sick. Like, he's sweating. Once the ship lands, he walks out. He's got his hand on here. He's got his hand on his belly. Just overall not looking very good. Goes to walk in the resort, walk into a couple synths. The synths are like, "Hey, what's up? You're supposed to have another 3 people with you." He kind of just says, like, "No, like, they're sick. I'm here. I'm just going to go meet up with the people I need to meet up with." They're like, "Okay." Run him through the x-ray. No weapons. Cool beans. Send him on his way. We follow the guy walking into the bar. He still looks sick as hell. He sits down at one of the bar stools near the mercenaries. Tusla notes to Ricky there. She's like, he showed up alone. Nobody told us there was going to be a change. So Ricky Valentine is like pissed. So he gets up, he sits down beside the guy and makes a point of saying, like, "Hey, you know, it's pretty disrespectful. Not only are you late, you came alone. You changed plans. You didn't talk to me. What's this about?" But he doesn't even acknowledge him. Ricky, again, presses him, but Buddy just looks at him, takes a drink, takes a shot, looks at him, and says, "We got a better offer. A much more lucrative load." Ricky, being a super rich gangster guy, is kind of like, "What do you mean? Who's going to pay more than me?" You know, Buddy goes to say, "Waylon, you..." And then before he can finish, he starts convulsing. And we know what's going on. We've seen this 1,000 times before. So the man starts convulsing, leaning back, and then I find it really cool. He bends over, and then you see a bulge popping out of his back, which we know that the face huggers, how they jump out of an egg, is like they're in there like this, and they've got their stem around them, and it spring loads, and it shoots them. So I think that the chest burster did the same to the dude, like just wrapped its coil around the back, pushed on him, and then launched itself through his chest. I just thought it was super cool to see the bump. pushing out the backside. Because at first I was like, oh, is this a neomorph? But then it was just a chest burster. But I was like, yeah, it's still a cool little thing. But splat! He's free. The little guy zips out of there. It's really quick. Everyone stands there in a stage shock. Nobody does anything. Tesla's the first to say, it's time to leave. And you know what? She's obviously the smartest in the room. So we end up seeing a really cool shot here. It goes into the perspective of the xenomorph. Like the freshly born xenomorph. And it cuts to like being in the chest, bursting out the chest, zipping to the vent and smashing through. I really like the art style for this. And seeing that they chose a different artist to do that makes me wonder if they're going to have this artist continue to do that going forward in other comics. Or maybe he's done it before. So that's cool. So Carlito, with this really visible look of frustration, like, he looks concerned, looking at the dead body with a hole bust out of its chest. He looks at the other two people in the security room with him and tells them to put a full signal blackout and to shut all exterior gates. He says he does this because whatever is in there, he doesn't want to get to the other islands, and he's got to try and find it and figure out what it is before it gets any further. The comic then cuts away to some employees looking for the xenomorph. They find the ship where the sickly man came off and find that there's 3 dead bodies. Xenomorphs already burst out of them and everything. That brings us to the end of this issue. So, I don't know how I feel about this issue. I'm not crazy big fan of it, if I'm being honest. I'll start with my gripes. So, first off, my biggest problem with this is that it really looked like it was going to be like when I was looking at the covers that they had put out before it came out, they made it look like it was going to be a lot more city-like. It was going to be a lot more, like, bustling. But it's really just like a Dominican island with a food court and a bar. So I'm a little disappointed in that. It's issue 1. You're not going to get much xenomorph. The art style is a little too colorful for my vibe, but I'm still willing to give it a chance. I just kind of landed like a wet fart for me so far, and I'm hoping it gets better. So, anyways, that was Alien Paradiso. Good luck editing this, Brad. Why would you say that so quick? Anyways, that was Alien Paradiso, issue 1. Thank you for watching.